Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Bob Iger weighing in and saying, oh no, this Netflix Warner Brothers deal might not be a good deal for consumers because they might raise the prices and that would be bad.
Yeah, right. He's worried about how it's going to affect him. I just thought it was funny because he was talking about he was going to give his opinions about things that, they need to watch for. He was talking about what regulators might watch for, which I thought was funny because a lot of the stuff he was mentioning, I was like, yeah, but, shouldn't they been watching for that when you bought Fox? But it's, I guess he's an expert, but...
Yeah, Disney are experts in gouging the consumers and using their market share to leverage price increases. In fact, I've got their price increases pulled up here. We've talked before about how we were cord cutters early on. We went to Hulu, and then once Disney bought Hulu, the price skyrocketed.
Yeah, Disney bought in 2019 when they got Fox. They got 2/3 of the shares of Hulu, and then the prices started going up like crazy.
I mean, look at this. Disney Plus price history since its launch in 2019, premium with no ads, 172% price increase. It's $18.99
in like 6 years. It's not like it's inflation. We're talking 6 years.
Yeah, so let's talk about this because it's very hard to believe anything that Bob Iger says when it comes to gouging consumers, right? He's no consumer advocate. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you're not tired of us, go to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts going into 2026. We're going to have a lot more content over there, so thank you very much for the support. This comes from Deadline. Bob Iger weighs in with concerns over Netflix pricing leverage over the consumer if streaming acquires Warner Brothers streaming and studio assets.
Okay, that made translation. He's worried Netflix is going to have better. It's going to up the prices. People are going to cancel Disney Plus and go with Netflix because Netflix has more. Let's be honest. That's what he translates to at the end of the day. And what's funny? He's worried about consumers. How much is the Disney tickets outpaced inflation? It's like exponentially outpaced inflation, even in the last 15 years for things like the Halloween and Christmas party tickets. But Bob Iger's worried about consumers now.
He's worried about consumers now. So he was on CNBC again. He was on Squawk Box. It's nice to be an observer and not be a participant in this.
He already did that once.
So they're talking about OpenAI and the $1 billion deal. We'll talk a little bit more about that because there's some backlash there. It is kind of weird that they're using OpenAI and then also suing Google for infringement.
Well, no, they've been suing everybody because they want to make sure that they have it locked down with their own characters, which, to be fair, they're their characters. But yeah.
He said, in effect, the position that we're taking is kind of looking at what we did and now looking at what others have determined they must do in order to succeed. Highlander,
which we said was going to happen.
Yeah. With his own experience at the Ford, the CEO, who is set again to leave Disney next year, was referring to the $72 billion acquisition of Fox in 2017, a deal that left, oh my God, guys, if only someone had told you this, a deal that left Disney with a ton of debt that hit the company hard during the theme park closures and other restrictions around the pandemic.
Yeah, we never hear about those loans they took out.
They took out a ton of loans.
I know a lot of them were short term, so we've been paid back, but there was a lot that were long-term loans, and you don't hear anything about that. But, here we are.
So they're talking about, the Netflix Warner Brothers deal, and then how Paramount, they're going to, try to come in with a hostile takeover. And Iger says, I think if I were a regulator looking at this combination, I'd look at a few things. Joining the business channel, he said, first of all, I would look at what the impact is on the consumer.
Did you care what the impact was on the consumer when you got hold of controlling interest in Hulu and you raised their live TV from $40 or $50 a month to what is it now, $100 a month?
Yeah.
In a few years' time. Did you care about consumers then?
They, I believe, had more channels on Hulu when we first started. It was probably about 2018.
Well, yeah, because a lot of them pulled Discovery and all them of them got pulled off and went over to. And they're still on there, a lot of them, but I still watch stuff there. But I mean, a lot of things got pulled off for other streaming services and stuff.
You know who's
still there, I think.
You know who has a lot of channels and it doesn't cost you much of anything?
Roku or Tubi?
Yes, both. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, it depends. If you want, current live TV, but what the hell even is live TV anymore? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So one company will end up with pricing leverage that might be considered a negative or damaging to the consumer.
Okay. So basically, Disney had pricing leverage when they owned Netflix, or not Netflix, they owned Hulu and they owned Disney Plus and they had ESPN. They had the pricing leverage. And they were out there throwing that around, flaunting it around, trying to, went and got Fubo and all that stuff, because they were trying to stop them. They were trying to sue Disney for things, so they just bought them in and everything else because they were controlling all the sports crap. But now that Netflix wants to control more, Iger's pissed about it.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? You were okay with it when you thought you had the leverage. I'm saying.
That's exactly it, right? He said, and with the significant amount of streaming subscriptions across the world, really does that ultimately give Netflix pricing leverage over the consumer that might not necessarily be healthy? Yeah.
Like Disney had with Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN and all that. You mean like you had up until if this deal goes through?
I just want to point out that premium with no ads, Disney Plus, up 172%.
Mm-hmm. And they've jacked up Hulu considerably too.
Yeah, Hulu. Let's see, ad-free Hulu has gone up to 58. And that's not with live TV.
The live TV ones have gone up,
yes.
Significantly in the last few years as well.
Yeah, it's insane. And again, that's because they have the market share on it, right? And that's what all these companies do. That's how it works. They give you a low cost buy-in, like Disney Plus or whatever. Like, there's no way it's going to cost $6.99 forever, and of course it didn't. And then once they got you hooked, and once you start paying that every month, a lot of people don't pay attention, so they raise the price and they just keep paying it.
Yeah, they keep raising it and they keep paying it. And the thing is, it's just funny because he's going on about it might give the unfair leverage, says him who had it up until this point.
Mm-hmm. He went on to say, additionally, I'd look at what the impact might be on what I'll call the creative community, and we're going to talk about that, but also on the ecosystem of television and films, particularly motion pictures. These movie theaters, which obviously run our films worldwide, operate with relatively thin margins. Then why do you gouge them, Bob?
Right. I was just going to say,
gouge them.
He's not wrong. The biggest impact will be felt at the movie theater if Netflix gets it. But like you said, for Star Wars and other films, they had jacked up their take. Like, he's all worried about theaters now, but let's talk about that too. Who was the one who started this whole thing with a short run in the theaters, like within so many days, and then having it go to streaming?
Yeah.
If you put it in theaters. Oh wait, that was Disney. Disney was one of the ones who did that first. They were the ones who pioneered this shit that caused problems for theaters. They're the ones that they were asking ridiculous takes for Marvel and Star Wars. So the theaters were making practically nothing, but they were getting all the money. But the poor movie theaters. Why didn't you give a shit about them before?
They were locking them into some pretty draconian terms, right? I mean, it was insane. Like Star Wars, especially, that was awful. They require interaction with these films and these movie companies to give them the ability to monetize successfully. It's a very, very important global business. I think we've been certainly participating in it a very big way. We've got 33 billion in films in the last 20 years.
Oh my God. And here we go. He's just trying to brag on himself.
My movies are huge. You should see it. My movies, they're so big. They're so big. So impressive.
Those movies, like in 2019, when they were like the $1 billion, that's when they were severely gouging theaters.
Yeah.
Like, they made all that money, but they made sure the theaters did it. And now he's screaming, oh, what about, think of the theaters.
Think of the theaters, yeah.
And he's like, think of the creatives, as Disney's going all in on AI.
We're getting there. We're going to get there because this is a very two-faced thing here. Think of the creatives.
I feel like we got into the place where it's almost like the Supergirl quote she said about Superman always looks he finds the good and she sees the truth. I feel like that. I used to be like, you don't understand. Like, I used to be like Pollyanna, and I was always like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. And then I got in there and learned how it worked. And now I went from Superman, not just
I ruined it all for you.
I went from Superman. And I still try to look for the good in people. I went from Superman to definitely Supergirl in that regard, because he's trying to spin it as, look at Disney, we're just we're so great, we're not involved in this, but we're we're worried about the creatives, we're worried about the theaters, and I'm like, I see the truth, you little fuck ass. You were the one that did this. You and Disney were a big part of why it's in the situation it's in right now. And you're like, but I don't think it's right because you're spouting shit. I mean, I don't want Netflix to get HBO either. But that being said, what you're spouting, you smelt it, and now you're trying to blame it on everybody else, but you're the one that dealt it to begin with.
You dealt it. So they asked him flat out, does he want Paramount or does he want Netflix to get Warner Brothers? And he said, we haven't determined whether we'll take a position or not. I was suggesting what regulators should look at in response.
Regulators should look at, but they let Disney get away with.
Yeah. In response to follow-up questions, do you view Netflix as a more serious competitor than if they should prevail here? Iger crossed his arms and replied, no, I'd rather not say anything more than I've said. So they're trying to, and that's his angry look. They are trying to play it down, but I think Disney is shitting their pants right now.
Well, either way, I think they're shitting their pants.
Yeah, I mean, Paramount getting Warner Brothers, yeah, that's a big deal, but I don't think it's as big of a threat to them as Netflix.
Well, I don't know, because Paramount's in the administration's pocket kind of situation.
No,
but he's been kissing up to Trump a few times too. But here's the thing, it's like Hollywood, though, in general, they don't want either one to get it. But HBO is staying as it is not a viable solution either.
No, that's what people don't understand. Like for Hollywood, there is no winning. There is no winning this. Like this is
lesser of two evils, guys. It's like every time we have an election.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel. Like I'm like, look, I don't think either candidate in the last couple elections, I didn't think either candidate was ideal. You just basically vote for the one you think is going to do the least amount of damage, and hope for the best, right? And you hope they do what they said they're going to do, and none of them do. I don't care what team you're on. 9 times out of 10, those campaign promises, that's just pillow talk, baby.
Well,
they don't care.
Though, I will say, and I'm not, I've never been a huge Trump fan. I will say, though, he has been delivering a lot of stuff he said he was going to do.
I want him to shut down the IRS. When he shuts down the IRS, then we're good.
He's been doing a lot of what he said he was going to do. So I'll give credit where it's warranted. But Disney, but Bob Iger sitting there holding court, talking about what regulators should look at is just highly ironic, given what they let him get away with. And now he's pointing oh, you need to look at these things because I don't want this to happen. Yeah, it's okay when it was me, but I don't want it to be you. And then pointing fingers about problems that Disney was instrumental in causing. I think it's just hilarious.
So this come from Variety. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but the unions are kind of flipping out because they're all like, "Oh my God, Disney's going in with OpenAI. What the hell does that mean?"
That's what I was saying. We're worried about the creative community. And I'm like, yeah, but you're just embracing AI right and left.
Yep. So the WGA said Disney's announcement with OpenAI appears to sanction its theft of our work and cedes the value of what we create to a tech company that has built its business off our backs.
Wait a minute. WGA, the writer stuff. Yes. Okay. But you did work for hire. So you were hired to write these scripts for a company that owns it. That's how this always works. If you wanted it to be your own work that you got to do what you wanted to do with and it wasn't off your back, you have to go start your own thing. But then you write stuff and then turn around and sell it to studios anyway. So this is, I'm not going to agree with you on that because you did it work for hire. It wasn't like your own thing that you went out and did and they stole it from you. That's not what happened here.
What they're saying, both of the unions, WGA and SAG-AFTRA, they said they're going to probe the terms of the deal. They're going to meet with Disney, and they're going to include the extent to which user-generated videos in the work of WGA members were included. We're going to continue to fight to protect our members' creative and economic interests.
Okay. Well, again, it's the writers.
Yeah.
They're using the characters that people can make funny things out of, and they're not even using the actual voices, so it's not encroaching on the voice actors and stuff like that. So where's the WGA going to be going to have problems with? Because people they're not stealing their scripts.
I'm telling you
that are owned by Disney.
Right. If Disney paid for those scripts, then they own those scripts, right?
They own it. So if people want to use, if Disney allows them to use verbiage from the scripts, that they own it. I'm sorry.
So, and that's where all this is going to go. I'm telling you what's going on here. And SAG-AFTRA said they're going to monitor it. But what's going on here is these unions are freaking out because they know there is a future.
Necessary?
They're not necessary. And they will use AI, even if it's not quote unquote show ready, they will use it as a threat to get these people to take less money, to get in line, to stop bitching.
SAG-AFTRA has more grounds if they're using the actual voice actors' voices.
Yes, I agree with that.
They didn't license that out. But however, they've already said that they're not doing that. They've already said that these characters won't use the official voices. They might even talk for all we know. I don't know, but they won't use as official actors' voices because that would be a conflict with the unions. They're not doing that, so they have more grounds to be upset than the WGA.
Oh yeah.
And these are also the same unions like WGA that want to go in and run podcasts and everything else because they know that their elitist Hollywood stuff's is going away.
Yes.
So now the things they used to mock and act like, oh, that's amateur hour, they're trying to infiltrate right and left to try to go in there and get their fingers in that and then demand money. You reach in your pockets and pull money for their dues, and it's a matter of times they try to pull the same shit they did in Hollywood, where you can't do these jobs if you aren't a part of the union, and that's what they're trying to do because their well is drying up, so they're trying to stick their fingers in everybody else, their straws, and everybody else's well. They're trying to stick their straws in everybody else's well and suck up their water.
Yeah.
Because theirs is drying up. And it's like, sit down, Tiny Tim. Back the fuck up. You don't get to come and demand that your people get to go in here and we're writers for you. Don't hire them then. Because they're just coming in to try to dictate everything and to take what you have and then say that you owe them because they're there. No. By doing that, then shut the door on them. That's what I'm going to say right now.
Slam the damn door in their face. Yeah, there we go. So we got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.